Modern pharmaceutical medicine, which was supposed to help us, up until Pasteur and Lister came around back in the 19th century, concept was that evil spirits got into the body. That's what doctors would come to your house and say. I'm not sure if that's not partially true, by the way, but they came up with the idea, no, it's not all evil spirits. That in some of the cases, not all of the cases, but in some of the cases, these invisible microscopic microbes are there and they get into the body and infect the body. And these must have been pretty strong microbes in the 19th century, because the average person was really, really strong immunologically then. Other than a weakened person or a person that was born weak or prematurely, almost everyone was strong. So they had to be really vile infections to come in. And all at once, the modern pharmaceutical industry hijacked that whole idea, and everything became pharmacological, I should say. They basically said, every disease, let's kill it, let's kill it, let's kill it, without any consideration of the host, you. They did not take into account that the inevitable side effects is a devastation of the very bacteria that governs immunological strength, leading to the endless side effects and furthering of illness. So young people today, which were brought up on antibiotics versus people back in the baby boom generation, are really sicker by far per capita than people now in their 65 and beyond age period. Pretty frightening when you think about that. We are clearly a target for our uncontrollable social norms. So all of our normal things that we're doing makes us a target. Sicker today with a wider variety of disorders than any humans in the past. We can now measure the disastrous trend of life expectancy plummeting. So all of you that are sitting and on your laurels and thinking that modern medicine has saved us, they have in a little way. Diagnostically, they're brilliant. Once the diagnosis comes in, then start searching for what you're going to do. The reality, quite simple, is that in the last 10 years, our life expectancy has plummeted 5 years. In the last year, the last 12 months, our life expectancy has plummeted 1 year. Simply put, this is about the destruction of the homeostasis, balance within your intestinal tract, the literal engine in creating your immunity and psychology, the harmony, the balance within you as a human being. Your savior immune system. Inversely, it is your immune system that you must support, raise, and nurture to reverse every disease known to man. Needless to say, that strong immunities are the hallmark of preventing maladies, and I will add premature aging. When I had my immune system test 6 months ago, they said they had an immune system of a 25-year-old. That should make you sound really important, Brian. It makes me sad that a 25-year-old bodies are like a 70-year-old man today. That's not a good news. That's a bad news. My immune system cannot be and should not be what it was at 25 years old. Think about that. There's a natural order that all of us will slowly but surely weaken a little bit and make room for the next generation. So I'm not walking around thinking that's a great thing that 25-year-olds are like me. I'm thinking that's a scary thing. There are 7 essential pillars in maintaining a powerful immune system. And they may not be what you think. Take a breath and write these things down. Take some shots of this. And again, you can always go back and subscribe to The Real Truth. You're silly if you don't. You're paying double and triple the amount of money to watch nonsense on the streaming on your TV, and life-changing, life-saving knowledge you won't invest $7 in. I'm going to give you the 7 essential pillars. You just pay $1 a month. I'm giving you this. What would that cost you? Each one of these pillars, this is what we've learned here at the founding organization of lifestyle medicine, the oldest organization in the history of man that does progressive healthcare, with more people leaving this institute, maintaining the program, and reversing catastrophic disease than any organization in modern history. You're going to get this. So what is $1, 12 into $1? What is that? 7 or 8 cents? So you're going to pay for each one of these 7 or 8 cents to get on the real truth of health. You just watch this over and over again. Plus, there's another 40 guys and gals like me going to give you incredibly important information too. So number one, passionate living that fulfills your goals. So you ask Brian Clement, what's the number one reason people live long, healthy lives? Passionate living that fulfills your goals. That means you have to have goals, you have to have passion, you have to fulfill them, and guess what? Now you have a reason to be here. And so you say, well, I don't know what that is. Work on it. If you need it, get psychotherapy. Let go of your adultism. Forget adultism. Be the little girl, be the little boy that really knew what you wanted to do and were passionate, and somebody told you you could not do it. You can do it. Now's the time to do it. I don't care if you're 90 years old or 9 years old listening to me. Passionate living, number one way to maintain health and strengthen the what? Immune system. We now know through incredible data from our comprehensive cancer program here on campus that within 1 second, you actually engage the immune function. It increases by fulfillment. Number two, breathing rhythmically, consistently, pure air. This one I've got to work on more. I'm getting out of breath. I get so excited here all of the time. But breathing, first sign of life, last sign of life. And so learn to breathe. Take breathing classes, breathing therapy. The guests, when they do it here on the campus, it's amazing. When I've done it, I've taken the time, and I tell you to do it. I don't take enough time myself. What it did for my relaxation and for my mental clarity was unmatched. Pretty important to get more oxygen into the blood cells. Pure fluid consumption of water, which type? Distilled, raw organic plant juices, freshly consumed. Not something that was put in the bottle 2 days ago. You juice it, you drink it, and do it in a proper juicer, not one that blows air through it and oxidizes it. Remember, 80% of your brain, where the birthplace of inspiration and imagination that connects you to the universal consciousness. It's not where consciousness is. Consciousness is external. You're connected to it. But it's a birthplace of imagination that connects you to that. Has to be hydrated, 80% of the brain. 70% of the body, your plasma. Remember, stem cell, the last thing was plasma at the bottom. Productive food consumption that nourishes your cell. I'm really sick of the word vegan now. I'm sick of plant-based. That's all passe. Let's now talk to people everywhere on the planet Earth. Productive food. What is productive? Anything that's plant-based, raw, and organic is productive. Anything other than that is not productive. Well, Dr. Smith says, well, if you want to kumbaya with Dr. Smith, I'm sorry I've wasted your time over the last minutes we've had together. Here we know that when you give unadulterated, nourishing food that was grown in bacterial-rich soil, and we do clinical observation of what people have happened to them with blood profiles and studies and scans, this is a food that brings people back to life, maintains a life force, and prevents aging and disease. It also helps you reverse disease. Consistent movement that naturally detoxifies, circulates blood, concretely builds muscle, ligaments, joints, and bones, creating elasticity. Don't think of it as exercise. Consistent movement. Again, constructive food, consistent movement. We've always moved until the last few generations. You can't just eat your way to health. You have to exercise your way to health too. I spend approximately 10 to 12 hours every single week in a progressive exercise program. You need muscle, you need circulation, and more important than the physiological and biological benefits that these give you, I can assure you, psychologically, they're equally, if not even more important. Socialization and companionship with others. Don't be a loner. Be alone until you find yourself. And when you have something to share, share it. What we know, the greatest studies on longevity today now include socialization and companionship. Our life expectancy depends upon it. So just eating plant-based diets and exercising are not enough. You've got to have a support system, trust factor, somebody to go through life with. And this is so important, people. Become strong, become clear, become somebody that has a personality and a persona that wants to share that with other people. Somebody that others want to share their time with. We need to help one another and support one another. Never, ever in human history has there been more of a need for that than today. So please, this is what keeps you young and healthy and keeps that immune system functional. Consciously connecting to the realization, it's a realization, not a hypothesis, that we are part of a larger whole of interdependency, manifesting true independence. The only true independence is when you know you are part of that extraordinary system that not only pervades the planet Earth and all of the planets and stars that we know about, but the multiple universes. The connectivity to all at all times in every case with no exception. Now, when you know you have that connection and that source of energy that constantly comes into you and gives you courage and gives you strength and gives you ability to become courageous, it makes you the whole person that you've always dreamed of being. Use that imagination and become that person again. So at Hippocrates Health Institute for 6.5 decades, we have mastered the methods in elevating the immune system and its abilities. 100% of everything that we do here has to do with immunity. That's why I was so pleased today, 50 years after I did my first lecture in 1970 on immune system, to present the newest findings and the discoveries I've made in my own life working with 275,000 people. For this reason, we know that humanity can leave behind the current disarray and once again become whole. And it all has to do with having that immune system there. In touch with nature and happy as we intend to be. So thanks for sharing the time with me. I'm going to open up for any questions you have on any subject now. And once again, I want to thank Stephen Shore and the women and men in the Real Truth About Health organization that make this possible for all of you all over the world today when we're recording this, and for many, many, many decades to come.